My name is Arian Ney. I'm a young entrepreneur from Germany. I got raised with both my parents. My mother and I, we moved out. We lived in like a 8-storage ghetto-ish building where I saw people dealing with drugs and all that stuff. Kind of coming from that negative space, you have to turn it into something positive, you know? Just realize how much power there is. Either it might be negative or positive, but there is power and you have to understand that. I had my mother as some sort of role model. She always told me the show must go on. That was a big pillar for me in my life. That really motivated me, and so we kept going. Now I'm just a person that loves providing value to others. I love motivating others, and it can be through my social media outlets, it can be in person, it can be through FaceTime calls with my mentees all over the world. So that's what I do, that's what I love doing. Getting out on my own. Well, there's no security, right? You're very lonely sometimes, but I feel like also that I'm serving for a bigger cause than just my own life. Even though I might not be in direct contact with people, I still see how I impact people's lives. In nowadays society, it's very easy to be lonely because we might be walking around or be in a cab and we're watching our phones and we see all our friends, but we don't interact with them really. Doesn't mean that we're really interacting, so it can get very easy nowadays to get lonely. But I know that there are always people in my life that I can count on, even if they're not there. My underlying philosophy in life is you want to provide value first to other people. And so that's what I did with George. I made an art piece and I sent it to him with a handwritten letter. And that's how I caught his attention. And I said why I appreciate his work and I would like to meet him in person. And even in the meeting, he was getting value from me, you know? It wasn't like I was going there being hey, can you be my mentor? And so you really have to provide value until you can then establish this trust relationship so that in the next step, the mentor can see the potential in you and see a potential win for themselves, right? And I think that's when mentorship is a magical thing, when there's a win-win situation. The fear. Well, I love fear because at first I was scared by fear, right? But then I read this one quote. It says, if you're not scared of your next step, it's not big enough. It's just spot on. So when I came to New York, I was super scared, right? Then I've been there and I realized what the outcome is of stepping out of your comfort zone. And so now every time I face fear and I realize it, I take a bird's eye view and I tell myself, Arian, what you're doing right now is exactly what you have to do. And so I step into it. Doubt. It's hard because I don't really doubt. I write down positive affirmations on a piece of paper, then I believe in it. It's weird. I believe that if you want something in life, you can get it. And I'm really convinced by it. No matter who you are, no matter where you're from, no matter what you want to do, you can achieve it if you put your mind to it and you put your grind to it, right? But you have to sacrifice. And that's the one thing where people start doubting because they're not willing to sacrifice. And of course, then they start doubting because they don't see the immediate results, right? So if you're willing to sacrifice and think the long term, you won't doubt yourself because you know and you will have trust in the process and you know in the long term it'll work out. I feel like people always glorify entrepreneurship nowadays, especially in the United States. In their culture, it's very glorified. You want to be an entrepreneur. People talk about grinding and hustling, but they don't really get what it means. Sometimes you literally invest $5,000 in a service and that person just doesn't refund your money and he didn't do the service. That's entrepreneurship. That's what you have to be willing to go through. It's a lot of mental stress. If you're not ready for that, don't do it because it's really hard. And I see people talk about it on social media and they say, yeah, entrepreneurship is hard, blah, 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 but they say it in a way to be cool. But in all honest truth, it's mentally stressful. You sometimes will not see the results that you've expected. So it's always an uphill battle, you know? If you love that though, if you're willing to embrace it, if you embrace those flaws, those setbacks, fallbacks, then it's amazing, right? But you have to be the kind of person who loves that. You have to be the kind of person who's patient enough and who's willing to take the sacrifices and who has a top game mentally, because it's all mental. Misunderstand about me. Well, so one thing, of course, being me being a personality on Instagram is that they get a certain image of me, right? So now when I meet people in person, they sometimes realize, oh wait, he doesn't always wear suits. He's also a nice person. He actually smiles. I think one of the other biggest misconceptions is people see me and they think I'm living the life. And of course, on social media, you mostly post the good times, right? And so what they don't understand about me is all the pressure that I'm going through, my childhood that I've been through, my personal problems. I mean, everybody has personal problems. I don't want to act like, yeah, I'm the one. But people always think like in my life, there's everything going good, but there's struggle. I think now it's easier than ever to get brand deals at an early stage, definitely. And I have a friend of mine, he has 7,000 followers on Instagram. He works with Nike. You know why? Because his content is authentic and good. And that's what brands buy into. It's important to pick a niche for yourself and get the best at it, right? Whereas I go out there, I literally talk to the people on the phone. I text them on Instagram, we have a conversation, and then it starts being genuine, you know? It's not just like posting for the sake of it. It's posting because I want to change the mindset of other people. And the moment that you do it genuinely and authentically, people will realize that. And that's when they will buy into your content, I believe. I envision myself as my own personal idol. I want to like look in the mirror, like, hey, that's a good person. But more than that, I want to impact people's lives positively. I want to leave a lasting legacy. So the next 5 years, I would say I envision myself being a learner, a listener. Then also hopefully I can pass on that knowledge and the things that I listen to other people so they can leverage their lives.